Hello, 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 welcome back. Are you ready for another lesson? In the beginning of our course, our very first lesson together, I told you that B1 Plus is my favorite level to teach. And that was true, it is. But today I have a special treat for you. This is my favorite topic to teach, my all-time favorite lesson. Because I think that this lesson can change the way that you learn vocabulary. But before we start, you have to promise me that you are not going to be scared, okay? Do you promise? All right, let's get started. Let's take a look at one word in English. Are you ready? Here it is, whoa. That's a big one, right? Well, B1 Plus language is starting to get a little bit more advanced, a little bit higher level, more complicated. But actually, today we're going to see that this word isn't so scary after all. So I'll share with you a little bit about my experience learning Vietnamese. And as I do this, we're going to learn a little bit of a vocabulary hack, how you can learn vocabulary more effectively. So, when I first came to Vietnam, I knew some basic words. I knew the word nước, and I also knew the word hoa. But then I heard someone say nước hoa, and I was thinking, wait, I know nước and I know hoa, but what is nước hoa? So I started thinking, would you drink it? No, wouldn't drink it. And I'm thinking, nước hoa để làm gì? I know nước, water, flower water. And then I thought, chum. So what is nước hoa? And then I thought, oh, flower water. They must be talking about perfume. And then I started thinking about English and how we build words. We have these words like the word I just showed you before, anti-disestablishmentarianism, this big, long word. And the first time you see it, you might go, oh my God, what is that word? It's so scary. But actually, you can break words up to understand them a little bit more easily. So today, we're going to look at some longer, more advanced words in English and try to break them up like this. So don't worry, this word is not a worthwhile word to learn. But just know that these long words in English, most of the time you can break them up into smaller pieces that are easier to understand.
Oh my God! Wow!
So let's take a look at some of these pictures. By the end of our lesson today, I'm not going to tell you what these words are. You are going to tell me. I'm not going to give you Vietnamese. I'm not going to give you English. I'm just going to teach you how to think about language. So more about these pictures later. But first, I want to start with a question. Uni. How many words in English do you know that have uni in the spelling? Go ahead and take a minute now to think of these words. Write down as many as you can. Good luck. All right, so how many words could you think of? Maybe one, maybe two, or more? Let's take a look at some of the words that I could think of in English with uni. So we have this one. What is this? This is a unicorn. In class, my students always laugh when they give me this example, but actually, it's a perfect example for this idea. What else has uni in the spelling? Well, how about this one? If you are different than everyone else, if there's only one of you in the world, what word am I thinking of here? That's the word unique. How about this? What are the kids wearing? This is a uniform, uni again. How about this? The stars and the planets, all of the galaxies, everything that we know. What is that called? That is the universe. And how about this country, my country? Where am I from? So I'm from USA.
Havana, will nah, nah. Hey, half of my heart is in Havana, will nah, nah.
But what does USA stand for? That's United States of America. United, uni again. And how about this? This is a school for older people after high school. What is this called? This is a university. So what do all of these words have in common? They all have uni in them, but what does uni mean? Can you look at these pictures again and guess? They all have something in common. Take a minute to think about it before you move on. What do they have in common? Can you guess what uni means? All of these objects have one thing in common, and that is the number 1. So in English, when you see a big long word and you see uni inside of that word, you know that uni means 1. So think about this, the unicorn. Unicorn. Well, corn sounds like this thing, a horn. So 1 horn. Oh, a unicorn is like a horse, but it has 1 horn. And how about this, unique? If you are unique, there is only how many of you? There is only 1. And how about this, uniform? So you can think about form as meaning mẫu or hình. So if everyone has a uniform, how many different styles are there? Well, there's only 1 style, một mẫu, một hình. So uniform, there is 1 form. And how about universe? How many universes are there? Only 1, the United States. How many states are in America? Do you know? There are a lot. There are 50 states, but all 50 states come together and make 1 country. And a university, this one is a little bit more complicated if you translate from Vietnamese. We have university is đại học, and you have college is đại học. So how are they different? Well, in America, 1 university has many colleges inside of it.
What time is it? Party time. That's right, say it loud. What time is it? Time of our lives. Anticipation.
But my whole point here is that uni means 1. So how about this man? Do you know what job this man has? If I say nhà sinh học, do you know how to say that in English? This is probably how you learned this word if you know it. If you learn the word biologist, you probably wrote biologist, and then you wrote nhà sinh học. Is that how you learned this word? Well, actually, there's a better way to learn, because there are many, many other words in English that have logi, and there are many, many other words that have ist. So instead of learning just 1 word, like biologist, nhà sinh học, why don't you learn the individual parts? Because in English, there are also many, many words that have bio in them as well. So if you learn bio means sinh or life, and you learn logi means môn học or the study of, and you learn ist means nhà or a person, you can put all of those pieces together and you can guess the meaning, even if you've never seen the word before. So if you know that bio means sinh or it means life, what do you think a bioweapon is? Have you ever seen this word, bioweapon? Maybe if you break it apart, one of the words looks familiar. So what if I told you that weapon, if you don't know, means vũ khí? What is a bioweapon? You should know enough now to tell me what it means. So bioweapon is this thing. For example, I have a virus and I put it in a big bomb. and then I go to an enemy country and I drop that bomb and everyone gets sick. That is a bioweapon. So what do you call that in Vietnamese? Isn't it vũ khí sinh học, right? Oh, there it is again. Vũ khí sinh học. So bioweapon. Interesting, right? There's a lot more. How about this? This is the name of a subject. Do you know what it is? When you study the earth, you look at where are there mountains? Where are there rivers? Where is land? What subject is this? This is the subject geography. Geography. But actually, geo and graphy has two different meanings. And we see geo in a lot of different words, and we also see graphy in a lot of different words. So what do these mean? Well, geo means earth, and graphy means draw or write. But what about a person who draws or who draws the earth? Someone who makes maps, who studies maps in the earth, where things are in the earth. What would you call that person? Well, that is a geographer. So we can add these little pieces to our list. Anytime you see geo, it means dia, or it means earth, land, dirt. And graph means to draw or write. And when we see er at the end of the word, it's just like ist. It means a person. So now, you should know enough to tell me these two Vietnamese words in English. Take your time and use this information to help you. So before we saw nhà địa lý học, but what about the other one? What about a person who studies the earth? Like I take a look at rocks and I study them and I go, what is inside of this rock? What would you call that subject in English? And what about the person who studies that subject in English? Can you guess using these small pieces of information? So we've already looked at one word, biology, right? Biology. So we know logi is học, right? And then we know bio is sinh. So sinh học, biology. But now we're not talking about sinh học. We're talking about địa chất học. So we know học already. It's the same in biology. So we know the end of the word is logi. But now, how do you talk about the earth? What small piece of a word means earth? So then, how do you say địa chất học? So it's geology or geology. Geology. But now we want to talk about a person who studies this subject. So if you know biology becomes biologist, what do you think geology becomes? A person who studies the earth. This is geologist, just like biologist. So we see these patterns all over the English language. Let's look at some more examples. How about this Pokemon? Do you know what the name of this Pokemon is? Well, they use something before dude to name him. What does he look like? He looks like a rock, right? It's no surprise that they call him Geodude. So why do they call him this? Well, he's a rock. He looks like he's from the earth, so Geodude. So we see this all over English. How about this? So you know that this is a car, but the word before car, the old word, what did we call it? Well, we called this an automobile. And these are two very common pieces of language that we see. So auto, what does that mean? Well, you have to think about what they used before cars.
Begoggled drivers passed in polished metal splendor. There were some hitches, and most of the hitches were still to horses.
They just used horses. But then when we had this, they called it the automobile because auto means tự and mobile means động. So self and motion. So if you know now that auto means tự, what if we add this to our list and we look at this word, tự truyện? How would you say this? So first, think about it. What does tự truyện mean? It means a person writes about their own life. They write about themselves. So how do you say life? How do you say write? And how do you say self? Can you think about it? So this word has 3 pieces. So when you write about your own life, yourself, we have auto, tự, and we have bio, which is life, and we have graphy, which means to write. So you write about your own life, autobiography. So normally, you might see a word like this and go, I don't know, it's a big word, I give up. But if you learn to break these words into small pieces, and you learn what these small pieces mean, you will be able to guess what the meanings of words are that you have never seen before. How about these 2 people, very, very far away? One person is in Vietnam and one person is in America. What device are they using to talk? This is, of course, a telephone. But tele and phone have meanings, and these small pieces, tele and phone, are found in many, many words in English. So tele means distance or far, and phone means sound. So think about what a telephone is, and then think about sound and far. Oh, if I call you and you're in America and you hear me, you hear the sound from a far distance, right? So now, what if I give you this word, nhà vi học? So you know how to say nhà, you know how to say học, and now I just gave you from the last example, phone. So can you put the pieces together? Which word do you think it is? If you used this list to help guide you, you should have picked phonologist. Phonologist.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
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 No.
How about this word? So this is somebody who is doing marketing, but they're not right in front of you. They're doing it over the phone. They're doing it from far away. So what would you put in front of marketing here? What do you think these people are called? These are telemarketers, telemarketing. So how do we know? Well, marketing or market has the meaning to advertise, and tele means from far away. So they're using phones, telemarketing. And this, maybe you know what this is. This is a submarine. But even this word, we can split it into different meanings. So sub means under, and marine means water. So now, if you take that information, we're looking at someone who studies life, but not all life. They study life in the water. So now look at the available answer choices. What do you think this person is called? This is a marine biologist. So all of these small pieces of the words have meaning from other words. Marine means water. Bio means life. Logi means to study. And ist means a person. So a person who studies life in the water is a marine biologist. So you might be thinking, oh man, this is so confusing. But the more and more you pay attention to these small pieces of words, the more you will start to recognize these small pieces of words, And then when you see a new word where you see that piece, you can guess the meaning of that word. But it takes time and practice. So right now we're going to look at some maybe easier examples. What do you call this? This is, of course, a bicycle, a bicycle. So why did they choose to call this a bicycle? Well, cycle sounds like circle, and bi means a number. So if you look at a bicycle, how many circles does a bicycle have? It has 2. So bi means 2. Bicycle literally means 2 circles. So now think all the way back to the beginning of our lesson. If I show you this vehicle, what do you think it's called? One circle, one wheel. How do you say one? Do you remember? This is called a unicycle. One circle, one wheel. How about this shape? Maybe you know that this is a triangle, but why? Where did that name come from? What is a triangle? Well, break it apart. How many angles do you see in this word? We see 1, 2, 3 angles. So tri means 3. So now, what if I show you this vehicle? What do you think this is called? Can you guess? This is called a tricycle. So 3 wheels, 3 circles. All right. What about this from League of Legends? If you kill 5 champions in a row, they call it a pentakill. Why? What is a pentakill? What does penta mean? Penta means 5. 5. So now, if you know that penta means 5, and I tell you that gan means shape, which of these shapes is a pentagon? It's the green shape. So penta means 5, and this shape has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides, or 5 angles. So we call it a pentagon. But now, even more interesting, now we have something that looks like a bicycle, but it has 5 wheels. Can you use your knowledge now to tell me what this vehicle is called? This is called a pentacycle. Did you guess it? If you guessed what this is called, now you are thinking like a native speaker. You don't have to open a dictionary anymore to translate to Vietnamese. If you learn to break these words up and you think about the meanings of the small pieces of words, you are now thinking like a native speaker. How about this animal? Do you know what this animal is called? Well, this is an octopus. But why do they call it an octopus? Can you guess what octo means? Well, here we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 tentacles, or 8 tua tentacles. So they call it an octopus because octo means 8. So now, what if I tell you to find the shape that is an octagon? Can you do it? This one is, of course, the shape with 8 sides, or 8 angles. Can you think of any other words with octo in the spelling? Maybe you thought of October, the month of Halloween. October. But wait, October isn't the 8th month, it's the 10th month. So why? Why do they call it October? Well, it's very, very complicated, and we're going to read about it right now. So in a minute, we're going to read, and all I want you to do is answer this question. If octo means 8, then why is October the 10th month of the year? All right, I hope you find this interesting as I do. Enjoy the reading and good luck. Can you find the answer to this question? So if you read the article, you should have found that the answer was something like this. A long, long time ago, they had a different calendar with only 10 months, not 12 like today. So we're going to read this a little bit more carefully now, and I want you to look at these 8 sentences and tell me if they are true or false. So after reading about the old calendar and the Greek and Roman gods, what if I show you this little guy and I say that he is a Martian? Do you know what planet he's from? Can you break his name up and find a piece of a word that you've already seen? He is, of course, from the planet Mars. What about this, that little dot, 5.7? We have a name for this, and the name of this point, or this dot, is related to one of the names of the months, the old month. So think about, what does 0.7 actually mean? Well, 0.7 means 7 out of 10. So how do we say 10 in English? According to the old calendar, it looks like December. So what do you think this little dot is called? This is, of course, the decimal point, just like December. But we're not talking about December, the 12th month. This came from the old calendar, from Latin, and decim means 10. So after today, we have looked at words with all of these small pieces of words. And when you're reading now in English, try to break up words that are very big, very scary words that you see, and try to find any of these pieces. I promise you, the more and more you use English and you come across or you see these long words, you will start to notice patterns like this. These are not all of the pieces of words in English. There are many, many more. But these are some common ones that you might start to notice if you break words up. So now, before we finish our lesson, I want to ask you a couple of questions. Which parts of this lesson about word pieces surprised you the most? And also, think about your own language, about Vietnamese. Does it work the same way? Could I learn Vietnamese the same way that I've described English to you? All right, that is it for our lesson today. I know that it was very complicated and a little bit challenging, but if you try to take this idea and use it in your own reading and your own listening, when you meet these big, long words, next time don't just give up. Try to break that word apart and see if there is anything that you recognize. And I promise, the more and more you do this, the easier it will become, and you'll start to understand vocabulary more naturally like a native speaker. Don't forget about your homework, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.